given that the angle KLM is a straight angle, and straight angle just means it makes a line. We'll see a picture of that. Find the measure of angle KLN and the measure of angle NLM. Now what in the world are we talking about? Let's look at a picture. So we have a straight angle, so it's a line. And on this line we have K, we have M, and then we have a ray, and that ray intersects at L. We're going to call this point N. And we also know that this is 10x minus 5 degrees, and this is 4x plus 3 degrees. Since this is a straight angle, that means that this adds up to 180 degrees. So this entire angle, like that, is 180 degrees. So that means that we should be able to take 10x minus 5 plus 4x plus 3, and that total is 180. So let's combine like terms. 10x plus 4x gives us 14x. Negative 5 plus 3 gives us negative 2 equals 180. We're going to solve because it's just a two-step equation now. Plus 2 plus 2. 14x equals 182. And let's simplify that. And you should have gotten 13? 13, yeah. Just had to check in my calculator. X equals 13. So that's really nice, but that's not what it's asking for us. Measure of KLN. So let's look at KLM. Well, KLN is that angle. So that's 10x minus 5. So we need to plug that in. So 10 times 13 minus 5. 130 minus 5. So that's the measure of angle KLN. And then we also need the measure of NLM. 4 times 13 plus 3. So what's that? 52 plus 3 is 56. So that's that. All right, let's try another one. So now I'm going to give you the picture first. And I'm going to tell you that this is a right angle because I drew that symbol. We're going to say this is V, R, and S. And then there's a bisector right here. Actually, I don't know it's a bisector. It's splitting up the angle, but it's not a bisector. Remember, an angle bisector splits an angle in half, but I'm not saying that that's a bisector. I'm going to say that this is x minus 4 degrees, and this is 3x plus 2 degrees. And we need to find the measure of angle VRT and the measure of angle TRS. So, looking at this picture, we know that this angle is a right angle. We know it's 90 degrees. And the reason that we know that is because we have this nice little box right here. If the box was not given and it just looked like it was 90 degrees, we cannot assume that. But since this question has told us that, we know that x minus 4 plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 90. Let's combine like terms. X plus 3x, 4x, minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2, equals 90, plus 2 plus 2, 0 pair, 4x equals 92. All right, what's 92 divided by 4? And you get x equals 23. Okay, It's asking us to find the measure of VRT. So VRT, we're going to use that x minus 4. And then they want to know TRS, so we're going to use that. So we can start with VRT. Instead of x minus 4, we have 23 minus 4. Is that 19? So that's the measure of VRT. And then we also need to know 3 times 23 plus 2. 3 times 23 is 69 plus 2 is 71 degrees. So that's the measure of angle TRS. And let's just check and make sure that our answers are reasonable. Is it reasonable if this is 19 degrees that this would be 71 degrees? Well, yeah, because 19 plus 71 will give us 90 degrees, and we know it's a right angle. So there's that. So we've seen an example where it's a straight line, and then we've seen an example where it's a right angle. So let's see one where you don't have a right angle or a linear pair. And so this angle, I'm going to call this angle GFJ. And got a ray right there, and that ray is going to be FH. Call that H. And let's say that this is 4x minus 1 degrees, and this is 4x plus 4 degrees. And I'm going to tell you that the measure of angle GFT is equal to 155 degrees. So the angle addition postulate tells me that if I take this angle right here and I add it to this angle next to it, together it will give me this total angle. All right, so let's use that to answer this question. And they want us to find the measure of angle GFH and the measure of angle HFJ. So both of these angles, when you put them together, measure 155. So if we put their expressions together, 4x plus 4 and 4x minus 1, when we add them together, they're also going to equal 155. Okay, let's simplify. 4x plus 4x, 8x plus 4 minus 1 is plus 3. We're just reviewing a lot of our algebra skills. All right, you should get x equals 19. And then as you figure that out by now, we're going to plug that in to figure out our individual measures. So we've got 4 times 19 plus 4. 4 times 19 is 76 plus 4 is 80. And then 4 times 19 minus 1, well, that's 76 minus 1 is 75. And if we did this correctly, our total, so this whole angle, should add up to 155. Let's check that. Does 80 plus 75 give us 155? Yes, it does. So there are our answers. Okay, final example for the night, and this one we're going to talk about a bisector. So I'm going to give you this angle, and we're going to call this angle CAD. So CAD. And I'm going to tell you that AB ray bisects angle CAD. Well, what do I mean when I say it bisects? Remember, if we have a line segment, a bisector cuts it right in the middle at the midpoint and cuts it into 2 equal segments. Well, an angle bisector does the same thing. It cuts the angle in half. So there's our ray AB. into two congruent angles. And that's where you will see these arcs. So notice that's a single arc, a single arc. If one was single and one was a double, that would mean they were two different ones, but they're the same. So we're going to have a single arc. All right, so we know those are congruent. And I'm also going to tell you that this is 3x plus 5. And this is x plus 15 degrees. Now, they want us to find the measure of angle CAD and the measure of angle CAB. So CAD is this entire angle, CAD. Now, we don't know what that is. Normally, we would take these smaller pieces right here, add them together, and set them equal to the total, but we don't know that. So there must be some information that's going to help us with this. Well, if we know that AB bisects that entire angle, that means that AB splits it into two equal parts, and that's where these arcs come in. So that tells me that 3x plus 5 must equal x plus 15. We're going to use that information to figure out x. So we know x equals 5, and that's great, but we need to find the measure of CAD and the measure of CAB. So CAB, let's look at that. CAB is there. I'm going to find that first, actually, because if I find that this amount right here, then that'll help me figure out the entire angle. So CAB is 3x plus 5. We know x is 5, so I have 3 times 5 plus 5. 15 plus 5 is 20. So the measure of angle CAB is 20 degrees. So if I know that this is 20, and this right here is a bisector, then this must also equal 20. So this entire angle CAD is just 20 plus 20, which is 40 degrees. And that's it. Make sure you check out the PDF, do those example problems, and submit the Google form for homework. Have a great night.